These 8 surprising hairstyling mistakes are making you lose your hair daily. Everybody sheds. In fact, most people lose around 50 to 100 hairs per day, so it's normal to lose a few strands while you're in the shower, brushing your hair, or styling your locks. That said, your hair shouldn't be coming out in handfuls. If it is, talk to your doctor, since you might have an iron deficiency, hypothyroidism, polycystic ovary syndrome, lupus, or alopecia. A receding hairline or widening part could also be caused by stress, post-pregnancy hormone shifts, or genetics. But there's another factor you might not have considered: your styling habits. Yes, that's right, something you're doing in an attempt to make your hair look better could actually be making it much, much worse. Hello, Danielle Allison, stylist at Butterfly Studio Salon in New York, shares 8 surprising styling mistakes to avoid. Keep styling your hair without any protection. Curling or straightening your hair without first applying a protective product is a surefire way to dry out the cuticle of your hair and end up with fried, thinning locks. To give your hair a break, always use a heat protectant spray or serum, and don't heat style your hair more than twice a week. Brushing your hair too often. Excessive combing or brushing strains your scalp, which can cause breakage and hair loss, so Allison recommends brushing only once in the morning and once at night. Unless you have extremely tangled hair, there's no need to brush more often, she says. If you do consistently struggle with tangled hair, try gently combing with conditioner in the shower or use a detangling spray on damp hair afterward. Going overboard with dry shampoo. Despite the name, dry shampoo isn't shampoo at all. In fact, it doesn't contain any cleansing agents. It's mostly made up of talc, cornstarch, alcohol, and clay, which soak up oil and grease. That's good news if you oversleep occasionally and need to perk up lifeless strands when you don't have time to jump in the shower. But overuse it and the ingredients will start to build up in your follicles, which can disrupt your hair's natural shedding process, cause irritation and infection, and you guessed it, lead to breakage and hair loss. Bottom line, dry shampoo isn't a substitute for washing your hair. To be safe, use it no more than once or twice per week. Wearing your hair pulled back tightly. Constantly wearing your hair in a tight ponytail, braid, or bun gradually pulls your hair out by the root, Allison says. Over time, this kind of hair loss, called traction alopecia, can become permanent. Whenever possible, try wearing your hair down or tied loosely back. If the skin on your face feels like it's being pulled back when you wear a ponytail, it's definitely too tight. Dyeing your hair constantly. Covering grays with a dark shade isn't terrible, but if you're a natural brunette who wants to go blonde or you want to try out a trend like rainbow hair, then you're going to be using bleach. Bleach breaks through the cuticle of your hair and strips out its natural color, which also dries out and weakens it. And if you don't watch the timer closely, bleach can literally disintegrate your hair. Allison's advice: don't try this at home, let a pro handle it, and give your strands a break from dye every couple of months. Wearing weaves or extensions. They may be popular, but weaves and extensions are generally sewn tightly right into your hair, which can strain it. In fact, research published in the Journal of the American Academy of Dermatology found an association between wearing weaves and central centrifugal cicatricial alopecia, a type of hair loss that starts at the crown of the head and spreads out from there. If you do opt for extensions or a weave, Allison says to treat these add-ons gently and make sure you don't pull too hard on them when brushing. Most importantly, only let an experienced stylist put them in and follow any care instructions closely. Teasing and backcombing your hair. When done correctly, the look can be sexy and sophisticated. But frequent picking can put a lot of strain on your hair, Allison says, which can lead to weakened hair that breaks easily. If your hair is already dry, damaged, or you see a lot of split ends, it's best to avoid this too. At the very least, invest in a quality brush contains pore bristles that pump up the volume as you tease without breaking your hair. Blow drying your hair when it's soaking. Blow drying stopping wet hair with a brush is one of the biggest mistakes I see, Allison says. Wet hair is fragile, and mishandling it by roughly drying it with a towel, blasting it with the heat of a blow dryer, or trying to run a brush through it before it has a chance to air dry can lead to bubble hair, aka weakened, brittle strands that thin and break easily. To minimize the damage, Gently wring excess water out of wet hair with your hands and use a wide tooth comb instead of a brush to get out any knots while you wait for your hair to dry a bit naturally. While your hair doesn't have to be completely dry before you turn on the dryer, a good rule of thumb is to wait until it's about 70 to 80% dry. This will cut down on your blow drying time and alleviate unnecessary tension on your hair, Allison says. 5 most common bedtime mistakes that are ruining your hair. From hot tools to highlights, there's plenty of damage you can do to your hair during daylight hours. But your bedtime routine could also be harming your hair. If you are waking up to a tangled, frizzy mess, or notice more strands than usual on your pillow, you may be wrecking your hair while you rest and not even know it. Here, the most common mistakes people make before they drift off and how to fix them so you'll wake up with healthy hair. You sleep with your hair in a tight ponytail. If you're a fan of tight ponytails at bedtime, you may be waking up in the morning with hair on your pillow. That's because tight ponytail holders can cause traction on the hair and pull from the root, particularly as you toss and turn in your sleep, according to Mara Weinstein-Velez, MD, a dermatologist at Schweiger Dermatology Group in New York City. Doing this night after night can take its toll. If this is a long-standing or repetitive hairstyle preference, you could develop a condition called traction alopecia, where the hair along the frontal hairline becomes shorter and thinner, explains Velez. Before you panic, know that this happens after years of wearing your hair in a tight ponytail or in braids. If you want your hair out of your face while you snooze, Velez recommends a loose ponytail on top of your head, Marge Simpson style. Or try styling your hair into a loose braid, suggests Michelle Blazier, Bosley Professional Strengths Director of Education and a certified trichologist. You go to bed with wet hair. We get it. Sometimes you're so bone tired at the end of a long day that you can't be bothered to dry your hair after showering. But hitting the sheets with wet hair isn't good for your strands, because wet hair is more fragile than dry hair. Each strand of hair is made of cohesive chains held together by chemical bonds, explains Velez. Some of these bonds can be temporarily broken by water, as well as heat and humidity, making the hair more moldable and fragile. The good news is that you don't have to give yourself a full blowout right before bed to protect your locks. If you must wash your hair before bed, use a blow dryer to at least dry the roots to prevent breakage closest to the scalp, says Velez. You're sleeping on a cotton pillowcase. If you have fine or fragile hair, ditch the rough cotton pillowcase, which can snag and tangle your locks, says Blazier, and try out a silk or satin pillowcase instead. Silk and satin pillows cause less static or friction on the hair, which means less trauma and less detangling in the morning, says Velez. Bonus, they will also help your hair hold onto its natural oils, which is especially important for people with dry, curly hair, notes Velez. You're not taking advantage of overnight hair treatments. If you have dry, brittle hair, using the hydrating hair mask overnight can add some much-needed moisture. If you have normal hair, make sure most of the treatment collects on the ends of the hair shaft, not the root, says Velez. If you have very dry hair, though, go ahead and saturate your whole head. Sleep with the shower cap on to let the product seep in and keep it from getting all over your pillow, suggests Blazier. You're brushing your hair before bed. Forget the old wives' tale about brushing your hair 100 times to make it shine. Brushing can actually put unnecessary stress on your strands. Instead, Blazier recommends using a wide tooth comb, which won't pull the hair. If you must use a brush, pick one that's right for your hair. Eat the 7 foods to stop hair loss. Seeing more strands in your brush than usual? You're not alone. An estimated 80 million Americans experience male or female pattern baldness as they age, and countless others suffer hair loss from conditions like autoimmune disorders, diabetes, vitamin deficiencies, stress, and lack of sleep. While contending with bald spots and thinning tresses is stressful, there is hope. Research shows that it's possible to thicken hair back up through dietary changes. Fill your plate with the following foods, which are rich in proven hair growth nutrients. Salmon. Hair is a protein fiber, as are nails, which means you need to eat protein to grow new strands and keep the existing ones strong. Protein is also required to produce keratin, a key structural component of hair. A smart choice is marine-based protein, like salmon, which has been shown to boost hair health in women thanks to its omega-3 fatty acids and vitamin content. Honey. When used as a topical treatment, honey can improve the look of thinning hair. In a study of patients experiencing seborrheic dermatitis, which includes scaling, itching, and hair loss, those who applied a solution of 90% honey and 10% water to their scalp every other day for 4 weeks reported an improvement in hair loss at the end of the study. Nuts and seeds. Some of the most promising research on reversing female pattern hair loss was released in January 2015 in the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology. Subjects in the study received a nutritional supplement containing omega-3 and omega-6 essential fatty acids and antioxidants for 6 months. The results were overwhelmingly positive. After 6 months, 90% of the subjects reported a reduction in hair loss, 86% reported an improvement in hair growth, and 87% reported thicker hair. To achieve similar results, eat nuts and seeds high in omega-3s and omega-6s, like walnuts, flaxseed, and oils such as grapeseed, sunflower, and sesame. Spinach. One study found that women with hair loss have significantly lower iron and vitamin D2 levels than age-matched controls. Spinach is a good bet because it's rich in iron and high in vitamin C, which aids in iron absorption. Toss a spinach salad with hard-boiled eggs or mushrooms, both of which are loaded with vitamin D, to give yourself the best shot at slowing hair loss. Oysters. Zinc seems to be a super nutrient when it comes to preventing and treating hair loss. In one study, researchers compared the zinc levels of 50 people with hair loss due to alopecia areata to 50 healthy controls and found that all of the alopecia patients had significantly lower zinc levels. Another study examined the zinc and copper levels in 312 men and women experiencing hair loss. No matter the cause of the hair loss, all subjects had significantly lower zinc levels than controls. Fortunately, zinc supplementation and eating plenty of zinc-rich foods can slow hair loss in the majority of these cases, so it's a good idea to add it to your diet. According to the National Institutes of Health, oysters contain more zinc per serving than any other food. Other food sources of zinc include walnuts, spinach, eggs, sunflower seeds, green peas, wheat germ, oatmeal and chickpeas. Oils. Pumpkin, rosemary, and coconut oils all act as nectar to the scalp. In one study, researchers gave men with hair loss 400 milligrams per day of pumpkin seed oil or a placebo for 24 weeks. Those who took the pumpkin seed oil experienced a 40% increase in hair growth. And there's something to be said for oils even when you don't eat them. When used as a pre-wash and post-wash grooming product, coconut oil has been shown to protect hair against protein loss, and rosemary oil has been shown to increase hair growth comparable to minoxidil, the main ingredient in Rogaine, and with less scalp itching. Seaweed. A recent study found that a supplement containing Cistin tubulosa, a desert plant used in traditional Chinese medicine, and Laminaria japonica, an edible brown seaweed, promoted hair growth in people with mild to moderate hair loss. After 16 weeks of supplementation, volunteers saw a 13% increase in hair volume and a 27% increase in hair thickness. The supplement was also effective at treating scalp inflammation and dandruff.